Hello, my name is John Lynch, and this is my CSC 376 assignment 2 messenger.py assignment. In this assignment, we're supposed to create a messenger that can automatically send messages between a client and a server host. We're going to import a few functions here of sys, socket, threading, OS, and get_opt. Our get_opt is from our first assignment. At the very start, we're going to use a try on the ops operation to check if we have a command line argument of -l. If we do, we're going to act as a server later on, and if we don't, we're just going to be a client. We return a string error if we get something that isn't proper in our command line argument. I created a server variable of localhost because we're able to use a localhost according to our specifications. And I commented out a few of these lines just for the sake of not having my program crash due to not inputting it in time by hand when I'm showing how the program works. So I can uncomment those when I submit. We're going to check if there's a -l in our command line arguments by using the ops from up here. And if it is, we're going to enter into server mode. Once we enter into server mode, we're going to have a server create a socket, and it's going to be a server socket. After we create that, we're going to bind it to our local host in the A of index 0, which is pretty much our argument of the port. We're going to listen for up to 5 clients on that server, and we're going to have a connection and address on that server .accept, and this con is going to be important later because it also is helpful with the client. Now, if we don't have a -l on our command line argument, we're going to print in client mode. After in client mode, we're going to create another socket for the client and connect that client to the same server of localhost as as the same place as our server, and we're also going to use the command line argument of 0, which is also a port. Now, because we're using because sockets can send messages 2 ways, we're just going to be using a client and a server. Based on that, we're going to have a function of send message, and that's going to be based off of threads as well, because threading can help us send the messages together. We're going to create a variable called user message. It's going to take the standard input, and while we're just getting standard input, we're going to use whatever, based on if we're a server or a client, we're going to use the con.send, and we're going to encode whatever message that was typed in by the user of system that's standard inline. The reason why we use con in each scenario is because this is applicable to either one then, based on because we have con variables in both the client and server functions. Now we also have just a continual while statement until the user presses Control-Z and exits the while loop. We're going to have a message thread, which is the start of a thread. We're going to thread it to this send message, so it's applicable to both the server and client. And we're just going to have a few try and while statements down here. This try statement, this pretty much means, okay, if I have a con that sends, do I have one that receives? And of course, if we're running this on 2 different command prompts, we're going to. So we're going to have a con.receive the message that's encoded. If we don't, we're going to exit it immediately, so pretty much there's no message that is sent. If we do, if it's true, we're going to print out the message that was encoded as decoded. So it's pretty much just going to be whatever's typed, and we're going to end it with a new line statement just for simplicity's sake. And we're also going to try again. If we try one more time to get another receive from the other side, we're also going to be able to decode that. This is pretty much here to make sure that you can send constantly from one side to the other, or pretty much spam one box and you can see it appear in the other, because we're constantly trying to see if we have a new one. If we don't, that allows us to exit this while loop and continue down here, where we close our connection based on if we're a client or a server. And then at the very end of it all, we're going to close it all off. If we have a -l on a command line argument, we're going to close the server off for good. We have this at the very bottom in case we have a server closed before any other messages are sent, which wouldn't be good. So based on this, we're going to have messenger.py. I'm going to run it as server on port 60, basically because I have my -l argument. I'm going to have another messenger.py. I'm going to put it into port 60, and I'm just going to type in localhost for my IP of localhost to the basic computer. And now I'm in server mode, and now I can just type in test. You can see test on here. Test goes up there, so hello, I am the server. That goes down there, and then hello, I am the client. That goes up there, and now we can spam it as well. So just constantly put test, and then likewise from either side. And the reason we're able to do this is because both of them are cons, and they both are able to be applied to all of this line of code down here where it uses con.send and retrieve. So we're both using the same variables for server and client. That is my code for messenger.py, and thank you for watching.